reviewing and unboxing the brand new Flipcast XLR microphone from HyperX. What's up nerds, Mark here from Noisy Pixel, back with a new tech video, and today we have the brand new HyperX Flipcast mic, dynamic microphone with XLR and USB connection. Thank you HyperX once again for sending this one out. Always a pleasure to work with you. This is a new flagship streaming microphone from HyperX, boasting a bunch of new features like RGB LED displays, a nice touch to mute, but most importantly, an XLR and USB feature. But not only just that, they are claiming a dual output connection, so you can have USB and XLR outputting at the same time. So I'm very curious to see how that works. That sounds very useful for streams or separating audio if you're a streamer. But enough of the talk, let's open this up so we can get to the review. Just so it matches up, we have the HyperX audio interface that we will be using for the review. But here we go. Another dust flapper. Right as you open the box, it's all packaged up right there, one thing at a time. So the first thing I notice on this cable, there's actually an adapter right on the head for USB-C to USB 2.0 for those without USB-C, but this looks like a USB connection wire provided for the mic if you don't want to use XLR. And look how long this thing is. Okay, here we go. Let's see. All right, so this is actually looking like a 10-foot cable here because it is not 6 feet. It is longer than me. Very rarely do brands conveniently give you a long enough wire, so thanks HyperX for looking out for us. But onto the actual mic itself, it looks like it's weirdly nested in shape. Comes out just like that, and there is nothing under the mic itself. So the box is on the ground and fairly simple unboxing. Just looks like it's a mic and a wire. Everything else is sold separately, which makes sense. But also does it. Wouldn't it be nice to get an XLR cable provided for an XLR mic? The choice is yours. But here's the great reveal of the Flipcast. Ooh. First thing I noticed was the RGB ring. Kind of ruining the style in my opinion now that RGB is taking over the world, but such is life. We have some pull tabs here. This first impression of the Flipcast. Nice and shiny. Let's get all these tabs off. Let's get that shine back. It's stuck to me. All right, so first impressions, overall, build quality is very solid. Really nice looking logo on the side of the frame here. It's kind of like imprinted in there with a little bit of reflective mirror look, which is nice. The shininess of the mic makes it really stand out as a little bit higher echelon of a product. Oh, the head does come off. Here, look, I just kind of pulled it off. But that's what the mic's gonna look like under the wind filter or pop filter, whatever you wanna call it. And it kind of just pops off and clicks back on, or supposedly. This is the arm. You can unscrew this, take this off if you want, but this is gonna allow you to get that articulation that you want when you have your boom mic or your tabletop mic stand. Everything is nicely provided for you. Well, it's already put together as well, which is nice. You have an XLR port, headphone jack, and a USB-C connection right next to the XLR port. Very simple microphone. Kind of does everything a microphone does, and it looks like you have your adapter built in there. It's not separate, it's inside of the mic so you don't lose it, but obviously you could take that out and flip it around or take it out entirely if your mic stand or boom pole does not support that. Let's quickly get this powered on with the USB just to see what it looks like turned on, and then we'll jump to the review. All right, here we go. Boom. All right, so I plugged it into my computer, turned my computer on, so hopefully we get some response here. Oh, here we go. Turns on. You have to plug it into your computer. I plugged it into like a normal USB power outlet and it didn't really react. There you go, see the RGB flickered again. But there's the on-screen display. The cool thing about this mic is that it has LED levels. Not that you're really gonna be looking at it too much, I guess, on stream or when recording, but it's just something cool, like a little gimmick to have. You could see when you're muted visually, and if you touch this, you can see how that unmuted, and now you can see the levels that are live and working. I guess cool, it's a cool gimmick, but you do have an onboard volume dial as well. I'd imagine that's like an output volume for your headphones, but I'll figure that out for the review. Last thing to talk about before we run to the review is that nicely enough, you have a high pass and a low pass feature on this mic, which is very rare to see on like a consumer gamer product. So I do appreciate that a lot for the audio nerds, and that you can really control if you want your low pitch voice tone to come through, or your high pass, or to get more of that high end through. I'm not gonna know what I really like until I plug it in and hear it myself, but it's very nice to have features built into that, especially when paying a little bit higher price, especially with XLR products. So a lot of control, like mentioned before. we're going to be using this audio interface, and it's nice to see HyperX dabble into this type of product so I don't have to get another off-brand audio interface, which I probably would have done in another life. But the fact that everything's going to be the same ecosystem, I can keep everything under the NGENUITY software from HyperX. It's very convenient to have something that is in the same family. And for those who are just getting into XLR products, the audio interface is something you do need because you need a XLR port that supports a USB conversion. So this is going to plug in USB to digital to the computer, and then you have this input here. So everything is able to be converted nice and properly. This is what we're going to be using for the review. They give you an assortment of cables such as the USB cable. This one actually provides an XLR, which is nice to see. I think that's going to do it for the Flipcast unboxing. So we can totally get right to the review now. This has been Mark from Noisy Pixel. Let's see what we think about the brand new Flipcast from HyperX.
For some, HyperX might be known for their gaming or streaming microphones, as they seem to have a sound footing in the consumer genre. Given this, HyperX releases the Flipcast, a premium XLR and USB option for $229.99. Although the XLR market is somewhat isolated from the gaming space, this device bridges the gap for both professionals and gamers seeking stylish content creation hardware. The Flipcast might not be my favorite microphone, but it certainly has a place on the shelves. Let's get into it. For nitpicky people, the Flipcast exterior's build quality is well made and seemingly durable, but it lacks a high-end finish or a premium feel. The embedded HyperX logo is stellar on the other hand, and the mount system features a secure hand screw grip and comes mostly pre-installed, so it really leaves no room for complaints here. The Flipcast weighs 1.26 pounds and features a cardioid dynamic microphone design. The HyperX Flipcast is a dual output device that allows for simultaneous use of the XLR and USB-C outputs, which is very convenient for nitpicky professionals who want to direct multiple audio feeds. I think most won't use this gimmicky feature to its fullest, but dual output is handy for options such as audio backup, especially if a port were to break. Those looking for further control will appreciate the Flipcast's interesting addition of a high-pass and mid-tone boost, also known as a presence boost. I didn't like the results from the presence boost, but I do like to use the high-pass filter due to my bassy voice. These features are nice to have as everyone's voice is different. We will showcase audio changes and quality a little later in the review. Next, the Flipcast has other handy aspects that make it stand out, such as the LED gain meter. It nicely displays active input levels indicating functionality, and peripheral vision monitoring goes a long way if you're screaming too loudly on your stream. No need to check another monitor anymore. The display also shows color-coordinated levels such as yellow for almost peaking and red for peaking. The Flipcast Ultra features a smooth tap-to-mute function, which I greatly enjoyed, although I occasionally accidentally toggled it due to its sensitivity. Additionally, it features a multifunction wheel that allows you to switch between USB, headphone input, and output volumes. If using XLR, all controls will be handled by your audio interface. For this review, I use HyperX's own mixer to maintain consistency and software, so please consider that when evaluating my opinion on the gain, sensitivity, and quality. Using HyperX's new software platform, NGENUITY, you can customize controls such as mic gain found on the wheel, headphone jack volume, and mic monitoring, but only when using a USB-C connection. Other features include a voice equalizer and a voice effects toggle such as AI noise reduction, compressors, or limiters. However, I found these toggles to be relatively ineffective or useless, so I'm just being harsh and honest here. RGB features are also present with the standard collection of pulsating colored patterns, styles, wavelengths, and more, along with the ability to disable the RGB entirely, which I really enjoy. If you aren't streaming or recording with extra style from the RGB colors, it's nice to turn it off so my peripheral vision can take a rest. The moment we've been waiting for, discussing the input clarity of the Flipcast. From my personal experience, it's really not bad, and I was able to get a sound recording out of the mic. However, the mic is designed for a specific audience, so let's dive deeper on that. For someone with access to audio enhancement software and noise reduction processes, the Flipcast is capable of producing high-quality narrations and dialogue, just like this one. Although I do have it run through a processor, it sounds really good. I bring this up because the general noise, fuzziness, and sensitivity when using the HyperX mixer were more than I would have liked to hear, making it necessary to use plugins for noise reduction to achieve a professional edge. On the other hand, when streaming with the Flipcast, the increased range and sensitivity of the somewhat omnidirectional cardioid mic helps with more effortless input pickup, ensuring that your audience always hears you. The particular range of the Flipcast makes it optimized for streamers and real-time gamers, while also being suitable for finer productions. Comparing XLR to USB-C quality, there isn't really a massive difference at all, but noticeable to a trained ear and those with high-end audio interfaces. The ability to upscale a device's quality and amplification scales with external hardware choices, where USB is really just USB with NGENUITY enhancement. The cardioid construction of the Flipcast allows for great direct audio clarity while still allowing the user to be at an angle. Even at a 45-degree angle, the mic has a decent gain, but beyond that angle, the drop-off is exponential, with the mic being mostly front-facing. This is why the mic is excellent for a streamer who is actively moving around and energetic. Here's a more in-depth mic test. So this is the raw audio input from the Flipcast HyperX mic right now. The Highpass and the mid-presence boost is off. So we're going to test out the presence boost right now. We're going to talk right through it so you can hear the difference, and you can immediately hear the thickness enhancement. Take it as you will. It does sound good. I usually would most likely keep this off just because it's a little extra gainy, but it does sound great. Honestly, if someone uses this, I don't see a reason to complain. It sounds good. So right now we're also going to throw on the Highpass, and we're going to talk right through it. And now the Highpass is on, and you can hear the difference in my voice immediately. All that extra bass tone goes away. I have a very bassy voice, so this makes it a little easier to hear and concentrate on what I'm saying, but I must say the raw audio of the Flipcast is pretty good. We're going to go back to default here, turning off the presence and the Highpass. So this is again the default audio of the HyperX Flipcast. And we're going to test the omnidirectional nature of the mic right now. And now I'm going to keep going to the left with about the same volume. You can see now my voice is lower, but you can still hear me pretty clearly. And that's why this mic is going to be great for streamers, because I can go all the way to the left of the mic, and you can kind of still hear me. Now I'm in the front, and now I'm all the way to the right. So pretty good omnidirectional pickup. I'm going to go under the mic right now, so not too great of a pickup under it. And then over the mic, not great either, so much preferred input from the front and about a 45-degree angle. And then after a 45-degree angle, the sound falls off. We can do some other tests where we lower the volume wheel right now, and you can see that my volume is staying the same because I'm on XLR. It only has onboard controls with USB. And I'm going to lower my input with the HyperX audio mixer here so you can hear my external control of the XLR gain. And the mic sounds pretty good, but there is a low hum, and that could be removed from having a different audio interface. But for a HyperX product and companion external hardware, it sounds pretty good, and you can easily do some noise reduction on this. Let's switch over and compare USB quality. Alright, so I'm on the USB connection now, and I'm not sure if you can hear the difference, but for a trained ear, there is a little bit of a quality difference, and there's also going to be a little bit more sensitivity since XLR, the noise canceling, the dynamic aspect, it's going to do a little bit better of reducing noise and input like room tone, stuff like that. But I'm going to start moving to the left of the mic, and you can kind of hear the same results. There's really no difference on the cardioid input on USB. And I'm going to lower the mic volumes, and you can now hear it's actually lowering my input sensitivity because we're on USB. And obviously there's a tap to mute feature, but generally really great quality for USB-C input, to be honest. I really don't see any difference when toggling the NGENUITY AI or compressor or limiter. So I'm not even going to go back and forth spending time clicking those. I've tried it 300 times. I hear no difference. In general, the quality of the Flipcast might be pretty decent, but for the price of $229.99, it's almost a smack in the face because I've heard many XLR mics that provide a higher fidelity sound, although they won't be providing nearly as many features, nor the dual connection ability. That's the real selling point of the Flipcast here. Other than some RGB style points and software integration, the features are where the fun lies, and not necessarily the quality of the device. If you are a HyperX user looking for a high-grade mic to integrate into your setup, this is suitable for a streamer or a gamer. However, for a professional seeking a high-quality XLR dynamic mic, I wouldn't recommend it, and I'd probably look elsewhere for the price. Noisy Pixel is giving the HyperX Flipcast a B. a bit too expensive for the use case this mic is pushing for. I think a real XLR consumer might look elsewhere, but USB users might feel that the Flipcast has a lot to offer, and I won't deny that. Thank you for watching. Noisy Pixel is a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all of our future content, and see our Patreon at patreon.com/noisypixel, and we also have a monthly magazine that we put out. So stay tuned for more, and I'll see you on the next one, nerds.
Noisy Pixel.